And we rolling. They see me rolling. And they hating. Patrolling.
Are you going to set my timer for 15?
They trying to catch me
Stop it. Get some help.
riding dirty.
Okay, what's going to be the sign?
Welcome to the Jacob Gospel Podcast. We got Jacob and Brandy Gospel here. And today we're going to talk about being unprepared. All right. Man, we just, when you're going to be seeing this, obviously the week that we're recording this, we're at the house, as you can tell. And we had some cold weather. Louisiana and Texas saw weather that we typically don't see ever, like ever. And, currently there's still people out of power, don't have any water. We're still frozen. And we can't drive around. We can't move. We can't do anything. And many of us were unprepared for that because honestly, I was expecting to be frozen for like one day. That's what I was like. We're going to leave the water run. We're going to be closed down for one day. It's fine. I didn't expect it to be a week. I didn't expect for me not be able to go in the field and do work for a week.
We live in South Louisiana.
Right. It's like...
So, yeah, we were definitely not prepared.
No, because even when it's freezing at night, so like if it gets to 25 degrees at night, the next day at 2 o'clock, it's 70 degrees. Then that night is going to be, 30 degrees. And then that's just how it is in Louisiana. And Texas is kind of the same way. So living in the 20s as the high
was rough
for days is not what we're built for. It's not at all what we like. It's why we live where we live, so we don't have to endure those types of temperatures.
Right. So I'm going to show them, okay? They're going to laugh at me, but this is my slippers. These are my slippers. These are what I wear every day to keep my feet warm.
In the house.
They are basically fuzzy flip-flops. I was not prepared. To say I was unprepared would be an understatement.
Yeah. And she had socks with them. So
I did not wear socks with them.
Well, that's arguable. But it covers everywhere she goes. Needless to say, we were not prepared for this type of weather because it's not things that we see on a daily. It's not like, people say we get hit with hurricanes quite a bit. So every year, Louisiana typically has, we call it hurricane season because it just happens. It's like you have to cut the grass during the summer. It's just what you have to prepare for. And some people are unprepared in that. And then you look at it like, well, my God, like, why didn't we prepare? Because we live here and we're supposed to prepare for that because the chances of us getting hit with a hurricane is pretty high. If somebody in Nebraska would get hit with a hurricane, which it could happen.
Right.
It could happen. It could go that way, but the chances of that happening are slim. So if a hurricane would go and hit Nebraska and somebody would say, my God, why didn't they prepare? Well, they don't even know what to prepare for. Like, it's not even a thing. And that's what happened with the cold here in Louisiana and Texas. And man, so many people out of power, so many people frozen, that's not used to it. And so you see people getting offended, like really, really offended and posting stuff on social media. That's really crazy because, power and heat and gas it's really a luxury. Like, it's not a right. Like, you have to pay for it. If you can't afford it, you can't have it. It's a luxury, like a car. You're not guaranteed. You don't have to have it. If you can pay for one, then you can have one. But things happen. Your car breaks, power breaks, like things break. And the homeless people, so they got people crying about the people in homes that are freezing and they can't eat. Well, they at least still have shelter. The homeless people have nowhere to go. But you know what? They're more prepared. They are more prepared
to handle that.
To handle those situations than the people in the houses, because we rely on the other person to provide us with the heat and the luxuries of life. That homeless person, he don't have nothing. So I guarantee you, he had a fire going.
He
you know
depends
why?
on himself.
Right, because
to
he
keep
was
warm,
like,
yeah.
dude, hey, it's getting cold no matter what. I got to have my stuff. You know, he's not dependent on other people's handouts or whatever. Like he's going to do it himself. So let's take this people up north with this cold, man. They were much more prepared. They're much more prepared because they see it. They prepare for it.
Every day, yeah.
You know, and people are bitching and complaining about politicians down here. Like they didn't winterize. One person said they didn't winterize the power grid. Like, the fuck you gonna do to winterize the power? Like,
well, I mean,
you're gonna wrap it in pipe. You're gonna go say, let's put a tarp on it.
Situation, they may be able to look at it to see, okay, how do we prevent this from happening in the future?
Right.
But when this situation comes along once every, I don't know how many years it's been since we had another situation like this. I don't know.
Remember.
So now they can start working towards that, but until something happens, you don't even know that you need to do that. Right? It's like you don't know what you don't know.
It's like one thing, you know, like. But anyway,
and people just.
I think people want to complain.
They want to complain, and they don't really give grace on anything, you know.
And you know what I find, those people, like you talk about it a lot. Those people don't take responsibility for the things that they should. You know, like it's their responsibility to make sure. You know what? Like this particular person that was bitching about it should have a standby generator. Because if this person had a standby generator and had the fuel for it all prepared, they would not have bitched at all.
Mm-hmm. Or they would.
I'm just saying.
They may have still complained, but
they wouldn't be. They wouldn't have had to go get a hotel room. They wouldn't have had to move their family. All these things.
Right.
They would have been prepared. Same thing with us. You know, we get hit with. I mean, we got hit, as y'all know, with tornadoes and all kinds of stuff. But you know, each hurricane that passes, power grid goes down. I mean, it's just going down. Well, it's easy for me to say, well, let's put all the power underground because then our power grid wouldn't go down. It'd be great. But realistically, we can't afford to do that because we have to spend money and send that stuff to China and all these other countries for no freaking reason. But anyway, so when the power goes down, lost my train of thought a little bit.
I figured.
But it's okay because it needed to be said. If this offends you, just give us a thumbs up. And if the power goes down when a hurricane hits our house and my family's sweating and the windows are open because that's what happened last time, guess whose fault it is? It's not the power company.
Right.
It's me. You know why? Because I don't have a standby generator on my house. I have to pick and choose what am I going to use to plug in, because I do have generators. I just don't have one that runs my whole house. So we got to pick and choose what we do. That's my fault. Mm-hmm. It's my responsibility. I can't blame the power company because they don't turn the power on.
And knocked power out, right?
Right. While they're working day and night, by the way, to try to fix the problem. So give them guys some grace and get off their ass and take some responsibility for yourself.
Yeah.
That being said, we're going to switch it over to what could you actually do? Like what could we actually control in this time where you can't really go out and do anything? So as y'all know, as a salesperson, that I still go in the field and make sales myself. Couldn't go anywhere, couldn't do nothing. So what I did, there was two things I did. So because I'm a sales trainer and a sales person. So the clients that I train and the people that I coach, obviously I needed to keep in contact with them. So they were a lot of my time went into that, talking to those people and making sure that they had what they need, because guess what? They're going through the same thing that we're all going through. So they need to be out in the field to make the sale most of them have to meet person to person,
Right.
and they couldn't do that.
Yeah.
So what I did was the same thing that I told my clients to do, and that was reach out to these people, make connections, make sure that they're okay. Let them know, hey, we had these meetings set up, but man, I understand that the weather, they know you can't make it. You don't even need to make that phone call. But when you do make that phone call and set up that I guess just relationship, building on that relationship, letting them know that you didn't forget about them, but then also going further and asking a question, can I help you with anything? Like, is there anything that I could do? Is there anything that you need? Because on top of making the sale, I mean, man, they're your brothers and sisters out there. If they're in a bind and they need something and you can help them, you just do it. You just do it. That's what we do. That's what I train all my clients to do, because that comes back tenfold to you. God repays that tenfold. So for all the sales boss clients out there of mine, thumbs up to you guys, because I know y'all knocking it out of the park with doing the things that we train y'all to do. So we love you guys for that. So as far as me and how I handled my situation here, man, it's ripping phones. I've been ripping phones. I've been, like I said, talking to the sales boss clients, and it's just my clients that I make that I touch in the sale, that actually sell things to. Touching base, keeping track, making sure that they're okay, they're going, because I work with a lot of first responders. Them guys are out there on the streets, man. Like, they don't have, like, it's snowed in, like, it don't matter. They might have to park right there and walk, and they gotta be there. So letting them know that, we still love them, and we're out there for them. In fact, we met with one of them yesterday. Was at a little place in town, and he walked up and saw me, and came to shake hands, and appreciation. It's just appreciation, and that goes so far, so far. So if any of the clients that you have are doing or stuck in the trouble that they're in with this freeze, like, that's what you can do. Like, reach out to them. Just the simple phone call to say, man, look, I hear you, I feel you.
Mm-hmm.
Go so long.
Mm-hmm.
So that's from a very, like, work and sales perspective. So Brandy, how did it affect you? Because we're in Brandy's workspace here. And I have a feeling that we invaded that space because we had kids not at school. Mm-hmm. You had me working in the office here, and you still had your work to do.
Yeah.
So, like, the typical things that you do that we mess up and we dirty during the day, we were messing up and dirtying throughout the day. While you're here, trying to get ahead.
Yeah.
So maybe to, like, all the moms out there who are just a stay-at-home mom, if I had a hat, I would tip it to you, because y'all are, like, grossly underpaid. So if your husband needs to talk about it, send him this video, send him my email and my number, whatever, and I'll be glad to talk to him, because seeing what you do on a daily basis, and obviously we work together a lot, so I know what you do on top of the things that you do in the business for us. You do all the things at home for us.
Yeah.
So, like, how did you manage to get through, like, this past week?
Well, I just had to kind of shift my mindset, because the girls were home, of course, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, which we were prepared for them to be home because of the Mardi Gras holiday, which Mardi Gras is canceled, but we still had them here. So I knew they were going to be here. I had prepared for that. I had prepared to use that time to spend with them, to do some fun things with them. And the difference was, because of the freeze, I couldn't do my normal cleaning, basically. Can't wash dishes with no water pressure, can't wash clothes. So I just had to sort of, my normal OCD about everything having to be clean before we go to bed at night. I just had to put that aside and not worry about it and just know that I was going to take care of it when everything thawed out. And then school being canceled Thursday and Friday kind of threw a shift, but I was able to get some work done. I just had to remind myself that it's only a week. It's only, a small amount of time. Everything will still be there next week. And just enjoy the time at home with you guys while I actually had it. And it was a good week, I felt like. We rested. We spent time together. I got a tiny bit of work done. And, I felt like it was a good, productive week.
Yeah. So, that's the main thing that I got out of that was, you took advantage of what God gave you. So again, whether it's a perspective from sales like I had, or as a trainer for my sales clients, I took advantage of that. So I took advantage of, so typically my sales clients, like, we'll talk once a week, and I train them. I train them to go and make those sales. And we talk about once a week. We probably talk 5 times, we probably talked every day. Well, that was like so much extra work that I put into each one that I don't get paid for, but it's worth it.
Yeah.
Because you pour it into those people and they need it. It's their time of need. What Brandy's talking about is she took that time and spent with the family. So like that was an advantage from something that was meant to, or whatever.
Could have, been negative.
Yeah. I mean, your perspective could have been like, oh my God, I can't do this now. And, but you didn't. You took advantage of that situation and really made the best of it, which actually turned out way better because it was a blessing that everything shut down. Week. And so I think if you take that with everything in life, though, whatever happens at work, whatever happens at home, like if something bad happens, is it really bad? Or is it just the way you're looking at it?
It's just your perspective, yeah.
So I want to challenge you to change your perspective in that. And
see the opportunity in every situation.
Every situation. Every single situation. That's one thing that we train on a lot with Sales Boss is it's going to get bad. Like, you're going to get no all the time from people.
Yeah,
so
it's going to happen.
You got to go through those no's. You got to go through those negative people. You got to go through the negative stuff and comb through that. But there's always some positive stuff that comes out of it. So you can take a negative situation, whether it be at work or not, and really change the way you view it. And it flipped to, oh my God, a lesson that you couldn't have learned any other way. Mm-hmm. So before we close, I want to challenge you guys to that. Like I said, change your perspective. But if you have a situation that you've been in, like tell us about this week. Like if you lost power, understand we're not mocking anybody because we're in the same boat. Everybody's in the same boat. It's just perspective, man. And I know when you're going through things and you lose things and like it's tragic, you tend to feel like you're the only one in it and you're not. And you feel like there's, oh my God, this is it. Like I don't know how I can recover from this, but you will. So lean on us and, put in the comments, like send us a message if you don't want to comment on here. Send me an email at jacob@jacobgospel.com. Just click the button on the website and let us know what you've been through. We want to walk with you in that. And if we can help in any kind of way, we will. And, but if you can, post pictures of the snow, post pictures of your broken pipes, post pictures of, your dog being frozen outside because you let it out to pee. I don't know. But let us know what's been going on. Put in the comments or anything, even not with this storm. If you've been through something that was negative and you made a positive out of it, we want to hear about it. All right. So we love each and every one of you, and we thank you for watching the Jacob Gospel Podcast. Like us on all the podcast platforms and social media, and make sure you share this video with anybody that you feel it could help. So we'll talk to y'all soon. This concludes the Jacob Gospel Podcast.